As the Detroit Lions go to Arrowhead and play the Kansas City Chiefs, the football season is here, and we get a chance to see our team in its full glory and see exactly what they're made of. And while I just posted a video about the Detroit Lions and what is our time to be, I saw this article on Bleacher Report, and I figured we had to talk about it. And that is that the Detroit Lions apparently did not even take calls from DeAndre Hopkins. According to DeAndre Hopkins, his Bleacher Report article just dropped a few minutes ago. He said that the Detroit Lions were on his list of teams that he contacted. Said there were teams that I had on my list that I gave them calls and they didn't give a call back. This is what he told Clay Skipper of GQ. Said which teams? That's what Clay asked. He said Detroit Lions, they didn't want me. Hopkins said Dallas Cowboys, they didn't want me. New York Giants, they didn't want me. A ton of other teams did not want him, apparently, with DeAndre Hopkins, that we didn't even receive, or we received the calls, but we didn't return the calls to DeAndre Hopkins. So it got me thinking. A lot of us are thinking that the Detroit Lions, based on the rumors, that we are looking at Mike Evans, and I believe that there is some truth to that. There could be some miscommunication between DeAndre Hopkins camp and the Detroit Lions camp. DeAndre Hopkins and Mike Evans are the same age. If I had to pick a receiver, I would take Mike Evans over D-Hop. But if this is true, that the Detroit Lions did indeed receive calls on DeAndre Hopkins and they did not respond, what is that saying, A, about our wide receiver core that we currently have and that we had at the time that when DeAndre Hopkins was released? And B, what does that say about Mike Evans' future with the Detroit Lions? Just saw another article from Bleacher Report as well that the Bucs are not, they have no interest in trading Mike Evans. Now, all that stuff to me is fluff. We have no interest in trading a guy. He's traded the next day. So that stuff doesn't matter. What they say doesn't matter. But what does that mean for the current wide receiver core? Now, our wide receiver core in some regards has taken a slight step back due to the loss of DJ Chark and the fact that Jameson Williams will be suspended for 6 games. So we have Amon St. Brown, Marvin Jones, Khalif Raymond, underappreciated Jim as well. We have the Antoine Green, the draft pick, and we have a couple undrafted guys. And then Jameson Williams comes back. We got Josh Reynolds, another underappreciated guy. Do the Detroit Lions feel, if they didn't take calls from DeAndre Hopkins, do the Detroit Lions feel that they currently have enough? See, this is intriguing. It really is, because you can't really listen to a lot of stuff coaches say, because coaches, GMs, you hear it, I think it's part of their nature to kind of spew stuff, because you always want to keep a team off the trail, off your scent of what you're trying to do. But for them not to even return calls on DeAndre Hopkins, it says a lot about the faith that our team has in the current receivers. I'll take you back to year one. Year one, Dan Campbell got Khalif Raymond. I knew when Josh Reynolds was available. I'm like, there's no way. We had the first pick and first priority in the waiver wire. There's no way he's getting past us. There's no way. Played with Jared Goff in LA, and I'm like, Goff needed a beanie at that time, because Amon-Ra hadn't come on yet. He hadn't come on. So Josh Reynolds was there to give that security blanket to Jared Goff. But what does that mean? That means, does that mean that the Detroit Lions feel right now they have enough? But at the same time, Dan Campbell said publicly that they were looking for a wide receiver. Maybe at the time that DeAndre Hopkins was available, they weren't, and now they are. So we're going to see, though. We're going to see with how things go. I will say that if the Bucs, if they're asking too much, or if nothing can get done with Mike Evans, the Detroit Lions are not going to wait. They're not going to wait. They're not going to wait. And it's going to be funny to see if, like, Dan Campbell, because I know one of the reporters will ask him, because we're not going to see Brad anymore. But if they ask, hey, DeAndre Hopkins says you didn't reach out or you didn't return calls, how that's going to be addressed. So just came out before the game. I said, man, I had to talk about this, according to DeAndre Hopkins, the Detroit Lions did not want him. He made calls to come, and we didn't respond. So I would love to know your thoughts. I know a lot of y'all were not feeling DeAndre Hopkins. I know you were not feeling him. I was. I think it would have made our wide receiver core probably. I mean, we would have been up there. We would have been at least top 5 in my opinion. You got T. Higgins, Boyd, Jamar Chase. You got those guys. You got some studs. But if you look overall, I mean, 3, 4 reliable receivers. We would, and then if JAMO could come into his own by the second half of the season. So let me know, man. Lions passed on DeAndre Hopkins. How does that make you feel? I don't know. That means that I guess they're okay with what they have, or they were at the time. So quite intriguing that he would call them out like that. But I would love to hear your thoughts. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. We make content on the road. Peace.